What's going on, guys? This is Cortese coming to you from CTS Strength Conditioning here in Napa, California. And what we've decided to do basically is, since we get so many questions, almost daily really, via our Facebook page, email, from friends of mine, our own athletes, just all the time, Twitter, everything, that we're just going to try and do like a video Q&A where I will, answer any questions you guys have related to training, nutrition, anything related to helping you become a better athlete. So basically what we've got today is our first installment, and it's related to Olympic weightlifting. And the question was, should I use Olympic style weightlifting for training for my sport? Short answer is yes, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But first of all, if you don't have a coach or you don't have experience with weightlifting, let's just back up a little bit. Olympic weightlifting, we're referring to the snatch and the clean and jerk. Okay, the snatch involves lifting a heavy barbell from the floor all the way over your head in one motion. Right. So in other words, you pick the bar up off the floor with a wide grip, and it basically, we're not going to get into the whole technique and how to do the lift properly, but it goes above your head in one very fast, violent motion without pressing it. The clean and jerk involves taking the bar from the floor, placing the bar on the shoulders. Normally you have to squat underneath it and then stand it back up, unless you're doing a power clean, which then you catch the bar high without squatting it. And then the jerk involves taking the bar and putting the bar over your head. Okay? A lot more complicated than it sounds. It is and it isn't, but the reason why I feel that you should use Olympic style weightlifting for your own sport. The nature of the lifts are so explosive and so violent that they mimic a lot of the hip extension we're looking for in sports. So for example, hip extension, we're referring to the hips. When you go into, this is called hip flexion, when you are over like this, and the hips are then extended like that. Okay, and you see that over and over again in vertical jumping. That's the same thing with sprinting. Any sport, if you were to freeze it and you'd see a basketball player going for a dunk or a football player going for a tackle, volleyball player jumping to spike the ball over the net, anything, a sprinter coming out of the blocks, it's all hip extension for the most part. And a lot of times this activity is not trained in the weight room. We tend to, we want to do things that are naturally safer and easier, and that aren't as stressful in the body. Well, if you go that route, it's all well and good. If you're doing something, it's better than nothing, I believe. But if you're going to train to be a very explosive, powerful athlete, I really feel you should be utilizing some form of Olympic style weightlifting. And the only reason why I'm calling it that is because a lot of times the actual name of the sport is weightlifting. It's not Olympic weightlifting. It's just weightlifting. But you put the name Olympic in front of it just to clarify for people that it's not powerlifting. Powerlifting is bench press, squat, and deadlift, which we use those lifts as well. But we also incorporate as our mainstay for our power development, we utilize the Olympic style weightlifting. Okay? It's not bodybuilding. Okay, bodybuilding is lifting for appearance purposes, which we also use some sort of, you have to use bodybuilding in your own training to build muscle. That's just how it works, okay? But when we refer to weightlifting, it is the snatch and clean and jerk. Alright, so that's just to clarify things. Alright, so back to the topic at hand. Yes, if you are experienced with some sort of weight training and you have access to a coach, highly recommend it. Okay, and the reason why I say if you have a coach, it takes some time to learn the lifts, to do them right. I myself, I was doing them off and on throughout college, a little bit in high school. Looking back, I did not know what I was doing whatsoever. We were being coached somewhat, but not to the true potential, and we weren't utilizing them as efficiently as we could have been. All right. Now that I've been doing them under a coach for 2+ years, my lifts have skyrocketed. I do them every day. I coach them pretty much every day. So and it really does come down to how violent your hips are. Okay, and I could go into a whole other video about technique on the lifts, which we'll do another time. That could take a while, but you know, I've seen it with our own athletes. I've seen it in myself. I've seen the benefits of doing the lifts, and I wish I would have done them properly from a younger age. You know, we have athletes as young as 10 years old that we are teaching the Olympic lifts to, and we have little 10-pound barbells, we have broomsticks, and we have plates that are scalable by 1 kilogram increments. 1 kilo, 2.2 pounds. And we have the kilogram plates because we have a little bit nicer bumper plates, and weightlifting is an international sport. So it's a little bit less confusing to use pounds and kilos, and a whole other story. But anyways, back to that. I have a book recommendation. Now, if you don't have a coach and you're not familiar on how to do the lifts properly, at the minimum you should try to at least teach yourself, or I used to do this myself. I used to watch YouTube videos and try to mimic what I saw. I used to also read a lot of books. I still read a lot of books, okay? But I used to, when I was trying to learn the lifts, I would try to see how to do the lifts properly. It's not just a deadlift and a jump and shrug. It's not. But like I said, it's a whole other video in itself. But this is a great book. It's called Olympic Weightlifting for Sports by Greg Everett, Catalyst Athletics. Okay, this is a book I highly recommend. I purchased this about 4 or 5 weeks ago, and this is an outstanding book for teaching someone who is or is not familiar with the lifts. I learned some stuff from this book. Technique cues, pointers, tips, positions for the lifts. I highly recommend you pick this book up. Okay, this is great for coaches, athletes, trainers, anybody who wants to add this to their arsenal of training. It's an outstanding book, seriously. So you need to get your hands on this, and if you can find a local weightlifting club or somebody who is familiar with weightlifting and how to teach the positions properly, I would highly recommend going to them. We are a USA Weightlifting Club here in Napa. So if you are interested in learning how to do the lifts properly and how they can improve your vertical jump and your sprinting speed, come and see us, because we have other coaches that are experienced as well. But you know, if you're out of the area and you still are looking for somebody, go to USA Weightlifting online, and I believe it's usaw.org is the website, and you can just search "Find a Club" by your state, and it'll list all the clubs that you can look around in your area, and that's where you can learn how to do the lifts properly. So I hope that helped. So in short, yes, I believe you should be using the Olympic lifts in your own training. If you don't have access to bumper plates or a nice bar, you should try to. If you're going to do them right, you should have bumper plates, because eventually it gets so heavy that trying to lower the bar is somewhat dangerous. So if you don't have access to bumpers, make do with what you have. If you don't have access to any weights, you know, utilize jumps in your training and medicine ball throws, stuff like that. But you know, I feel that no box jumps or medicine ball throws can mimic the type of ballistic activity and the violence of Olympic style weightlifting. And if you can do them right, you'll get the benefit from them. So find a coach, read this book, and you know, I can almost guarantee your vertical jumps and sprint times will improve just by using the lifts in your own training. So if you have any questions, just drop them below in the comments section, and we'll try to help you out. And if you do have a question regarding to your own training, just go ahead and email us at info@ctsgym.com, and we'll try to get your question up on video as soon as possible. Otherwise, guys, this is John Cortese, ctsgym.com, CTS Strength Conditioning in Napa, California, and we'll see you later. See ya.